Welcome back to Is Your Faith Problematic? On this episode, we're going to be covering Metallica. This band is ancient, so let's just jump straight in because it's going to be very, very long. But before we start, let's have some content warnings. And starting off with a bang, there is their anti-Semitism. First, there's this picture of Hetfield and Ulrich doing a Nazi salute. More recently, Hetfield plays on this guitar that contains iron crosses. And if you don't know, iron crosses are neo-Nazi dog whistle symbols. Then there's also the fact that he hung out with Kerry King, this Aryan Brotherhood looking motherfucker right here, who is obviously very proud to be wearing a Confederate flag. And then a video of one of their former members doing a Nazi salute and march. Next up, there's some more racism.
And I heard James say about Ice-T, because Ice-T was supposed to join us on the tour. He said, I don't want to share my stage with a N-word.
And that story's even corroborated by Axl Rose himself.
Before the show ended, though, Rose got in a few verbal licks at GNR's one-time tour mates Metallica, especially lead singer James Hetfield, whom Rose called a racist. Apparently because Axl blames Hetfield for keeping Ice-T and Body Count off last year's GNR Metallica tour.
Then there's his racism against East Asian people, and his use of the O word, and making fun of the call to stop calling people that word.
You don't know Kung Fu! All our Oriental fans smashing Metallica records. Isn't it Asian? Politically sensitive? Wow, man, I'm really enjoying.
Then there was this statement that he was praised for speaking out against racism, even though at the beginning of it they talk about how they don't care who you voted for, as if Trump supporters weren't supporting racist policies. If you care enough about racism to denounce it, then you should probably care about who people are voting for, because those people influence policies that are racist. But don't worry, they spoke about Black Lives Matter. All of them did. Except for the lead singer, of course. And they did that with some black squares, no resources, and no donations. Next up is how they made fun of addiction, mental health, and suicide. First, there's how they mocked Lane Staley's drug addiction by motioning needles going into their arms. What I find weird about this is that they are so quick to make fun of somebody's drug addiction, but when James himself was put into rehab, that's when they started taking drug addiction seriously. But of course they only care about issues when it pertains them. And finally, there's how they mocked Kurt Cobain's suicide, days after it happened.
What color was Kurt Cobain's eyes? Blue! One blue this way, one blue that way. I have 4 arms and 4 legs and worse than McDonald's. The remaining members of Nirvana. It was a good aim.
There's probably much more of this considering that they're a band full of white men from the 80s, but this is all I could find for right now. So if I missed anything, please let me know.